Well, good Friday morning, everybody, and it is the Friday after Thanksgiving. So I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving out there and had a very, very blessed day and had a wonderful day with as many families you could this year with the craziness of COVID and some of the limitations on family gatherings. I know for us, we didn't have nearly as large of a family gathering as normal. And I apologize. I'm over in the parsonage, so you might have to bear with the dogs barking as somebody walks by outside. Interestingly enough, today this day after Thanksgiving, we come to this interesting parable that we are at as we're walking our way through the Gospel of Luke. We're in the 12th chapter of Luke, and we're going to look at verses 13 to 21. This is the parable of the rich fool. I think it applies somewhat to Thanksgiving. And we have some insight into our Thanksgiving and our relationships here from this parable. So with that, let's take a listen to the words that Luke has left us in his 12th chapter. Again, verses 13 to 21. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbiter over you?" And he said to them, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist of the abundance of possessions." Then he told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, and be merry.' Then God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God.'" Okay, a couple of things in here that I see on this morning after Thanksgiving. First of all, it all starts with this fellow was crying out from the crowd, and we know that this is a large crowd. Remember, just earlier it was like thousands, and people were getting trampled. This is the same crowd that we talked about just the other day. So it's a big crowd, and this guy comes and he's yelling out, and the thought is, and most likely I think it's true, it's one of the younger brothers, one of the younger brothers. In Jewish inheritance law, typically the eldest brother would get a double portion. So however many brothers you've got, you divide it up, but oldest gets double what everybody else gets. So this is, if there's two sons, which we talk about oftentimes, two sons, one gets 2/3, one gets a third. And this is most likely a younger brother crying out to Jesus, "Hey, this inheritance stuff, this is just not fair. I should have an equal portion with my brother." We don't look at things that way anymore. But this is what's going on here. On this Thanksgiving week that we are at, I think we can look at this. There's nothing that we encounter in life, that I've encountered in life, that causes more problems within a family than inheritance. Money, possessions, all those things can cause, especially money, can cause real discord between relatives, brothers, sisters. You have it. Nephews, nieces, right down the line. Grandma and grandpa pass, and all of a sudden the cousins are all at each other's head or throats. So this is what's one of the things we can think about this Thanksgiving Day. What really causes the most, such disruption in our family units, as inheritance? If it's not done well by the parents or grandparents, if they're not planned well for how to go about doing it, it can cause some real problems. And almost always, shouldn't say almost always, all too frequently cause at least some discord. And as we come through this time of Thanksgiving, it's time when we typically come together as families and we gather. It's a real shame to look at all of the families that have been broken apart by the loss of a loved one, and then the division of the goods and fighting over this and that. And it can even be over things like grandma's wedding ring or what have you. Not necessarily just money, funds. It can be possessions, things that we've stored up. So we want to be careful of that. But here he's talking about where you're focusing your wealth. Are you focusing it on the idea of building up? And he speaks this parable both towards, I think, the younger and the older brother, both really. Towards the older brother would be that, what do you need all that excess wealth for? Your life may be taken from you tomorrow. And to the younger brother, I think I see in here, he's already gotten his inheritance. We're presuming to have some abundance, some wealth. He should be thankful, thanksgiving. Should be thankful for that abundance. And he already has the barn set up to hold it, and yet he wants more, so he wants to tear the barns down and to hold the rest of it. So it's an idea of being thankful for the blessings you have and planning with that as God has given to you, and not anticipating and demanding or almost greater and greater. So we don't know when our days in this world come to an end. For any one of us, it could be tomorrow, it could be this afternoon. I say 3 o'clock all the time. It could be today at 3. Who knows? And I'm reminded of the verses in James. In James, we have chapter 4. Those conflicts and disputes among you, where do they come from? Do they not come from your cravings that are at war within you? You want something and do not have it, so you commit murder, and you covet something and cannot obtain it, so you engage in disputes and conflicts. And then later in the chapter at the end, he says, come now, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such town and spend a year there doing business and making money, that you do not even know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wishes, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. Anyone then who knows the right thing to do and fails to do it commits sin. We don't know what's coming tomorrow. We don't know what the end is. Why would we let our covetousness? Why would we let our envy and our rivalry with our loved ones to cause a rift in this world between our relationships? And why would we let our possessions cause a rift in our relationship with God? That's really where we're coming at, I think, from all of this. It's about being right with God and sharing, and not about hoarding. And hoarding can also not just be possessions. Remember that. Hoarding can also be your life, your love, your faith. Don't hoard your life, your love, your faith. Share it in abundance with all. And that would be something to be thankful for, the fact that God's given you this life, this faith, this love to share. And you're duty called to share it, because it's not something you can hold on to. It's not something you can take with you, folks. Your life may be taken tomorrow, and it's not what you leave behind in possessions. It's what you leave behind in love. Okay. Have a very blessed day, and we will talk to you in the morning. All right. And remember, be a blessing to someone today. Bye-bye.